So that's to share my testimony and well, where do I begin? I could start when I was 6, saved, baptized in Spirit-filled church, or when I was 14 in the mall playing video games. Lady walks in, hey, do you know Jesus? And I'm like, yeah, I know Jesus. She's like, no, do you know Jesus? It took me years to get it, but she's talking about how's your relationship with Christ. In my 20s, I did some stupid stuff, almost got myself killed. At work, I almost fell off a 3-story house, could have died there, got meningitis, fever shot up 106, could have died there. It's countless times God's protection's been on my life. But what I want to talk about right now is God's provision. So my wife and I were called into ministry, and so we both quit our jobs, sold our house, timeshare car, everything, just paid cash for everything that we had so we could just sell out for God. And we planted a church. And in the process of that, we didn't have any money. Had 2 teenagers at home, and so things were tight. What little bit of money was coming in, was from people giving it to us, or me picking up little odd jobs because the church didn't have the money to pay us for the first couple of years. But anyway, so we were 6-8 months in, get called to come back to our former church, and as we're doing a Bible study there, and we get ready to leave, there was a friend of mine there, so we sat out in the parking lot, talked for a while, and God told me, give him everything in your wallet. Now remember, we don't have much money. I got to go buy groceries. I got $62. And I'm like, okay, I'll give him 20. God said, nope. I said, well, I'll give him 30. God said, nope. I said, well, 40. And he said, if you're not going to give it all, don't give any. Okay, God, I get it. So finally, pull it out of my wallet, holding on to it. We finish our conversation, and the phone rings, and he says, hey, I got to go. That's my wife. I said, well, God told me to give you this. So I go to hand him the money. He said, no, I don't want that. I'm like, look, I just wrestled with God. I'm not wrestling with you. You're not stealing my blessing here. So I give it to him. He leaves. About a week later at the grocery store, got a little bit more money, $78 I think it was. So we're in the grocery store counting up our pennies, and here comes this guy. He's like, you're not gonna believe this conversation that we were having. My wife called, interrupted our conversation. I apologize for that, but she needed to go to the chiropractor because she owns her own business. She had hurt her back. She couldn't work anymore that day. She needed to get back to work. She needed to go to chiropractor for $60. And what you give me, cover that. Because what you don't realize is I've been out of work for months. She's the only one having income coming in. She had to go back to work. So we're rejoicing in the middle of a grocery store. And out of the corner of my eye, here walks this guy. Long black trench coat, glasses, hair kind of slicked back. I mean, I see him coming. And I'm thinking, okay, he's coming this way. So the closer he gets, I move a little bit thinking he wants the Oreos, and he does it. He's still staring at me. So I turn and think, okay, do I know this guy? He sticks out his hand. So I shake his hand, still kind of look, puzzled, like, who is this? He said, God told me to give you this. And I felt something in my hand, a little small piece of paper. So I stuck it in my pocket, right back out the door he went. Finished the conversation with the guy. He leaves. My wife and I standing there calculating one more time, make sure we have enough money. And my wife says, hey, what did that guy give you? I'm like, I don't know. Something about Jesus, probably. Pull it out. It's a $100 bill. Total stranger, give me a $100 bill in the middle of a grocery store. You want to talk about God being faithful and how it'll transform your life? I promise you, God is faithful in everything. All we have to do is trust in Him.